Class, today we're going to start our deeper look into the planets in our solar system. And really, the whole time as we do this, we want to try to compare them to the Earth, because that's really how we understand our other planets, because we haven't been to any other planets. Humans, we've sent spacecraft, a lot of orbiters, some landers, etc., some flybys that have given us more detailed images and information about these planets, but we've never actually been there to study them directly on the surface. And so our understanding comes from the Earth. When you take your notes today, you're going to be taking notes on this paper right here. So make sure that you're using that. You'll fill out this top part here based on the information about the planet that we're talking about today. Now, this object you can see here looks a lot like the moon, and that's why we didn't study it for a very long period of time. But this is not actually the moon. This is actually the planet Mercury. And this is the closest planet to the sun. A lot of interesting things about Mercury, so let's get to it. It's made of rock, just like the Earth, and its temperature ranges from 700 degrees above to minus 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, you need to think about that a little bit. Why is there a huge temperature range? Because here on Earth, we don't have 1,000-degree temperature range between our high and our low temperature. So there must be some difference between Mercury and the Earth. And maybe you could already tell from the image, but we're going to find out as we go along what causes that huge temperature swing. It's a small planet. It's actually the 8th largest planet. It means 7 planets are bigger than Mercury. It takes 58 Earth days for it to spin around one time on its axis. So the Earth, in comparison, takes only 24 hours to spin around on its axis one time. So this takes 58 times as long. So based on that and your knowledge of magnetic fields, that a planet must spin fast and have a metallic core, you might be able to figure out whether or not Mercury has a magnetic field at this point. Now, Mercury takes 88 days to go around the sun one time. It takes the Earth 365 days to go around the sun one time. So this is about a quarter of what it takes the Earth to go around the sun. So very, very quick. Why is that? It's just like running on the track. If you were going to run a mile on the track, you would choose to run on lane 1. Why? Because it's shorter. And Mercury takes less time to go around the sun because it has a shorter path to take than the Earth does, because the Earth's farther away. That's what it tells us. Mercury does have a very weak magnetic field, which is strange because it doesn't spin very fast. Well, we'll get to why that is. It doesn't have any moons. Wonder why that is. Mercury's tiny. It's next to the biggest object in our solar system, the sun. So the sun's gravity will pull any object that might end up orbiting Mercury into the sun or fling it away or something. So Mercury has no moons. Mercury does have an atmosphere. It's really, really thin. It's something like 1 to 5% of the Earth's atmospheric density, so really not much of an atmosphere. And it only has an atmosphere because the sun's radiation is so intense there, it hits the surface of Mercury and strips off these particles, hydrogen, helium, oxygen, sodium, and potassium, and it makes an atmosphere until the sun's radiation strips that away. So it's really not an atmosphere, or much of one anyway. It does have some surface features. You can see one here. This is a crater. It's got cliffs, some as high as 2 miles, and a lot of flat areas, plains. So not as many craters as the moon, lots of open areas. Some unique features of Mercury. It has this ginormous iron core. If you compare it to the Earth's in these cutaways here, you can see that Mercury's iron core is almost as big as the Earth. So close to half of the planet Mercury is actually iron core. And that's how scientists think it's able to have a weak magnetic field, even though it spins so slow. Because it has so much iron, it also has the highest density of any planet in our solar system. So some unique features of Mercury. We have sent some spacecraft to Mercury, not very many. The Mariner 10 was a flyby mission in 1974, so it flew by and went and took pictures as it went by. And then it flew around the other side and went. So we only had pictures of half of Mercury until the Messenger spacecraft went into orbit around Mercury, almost 35 years after the Mariner spacecraft. And then we got maps of the entire surface of Mercury, and our knowledge and understanding of the planet has grown exponentially. I believe the European Space Agency is planning to send another mission to Mercury, an orbiting mission to learn more about the planet itself. So there are some missions in the future, and these are a few of them. The Messenger orbiter, the Mariner flyby. What's it like on Mercury? Super high radiation because it's so close to the sun. And the sun itself in the sky of Mercury looks 3 times larger than it does here on Earth. And because Mercury is so much smaller, you only have 1/3 of the Earth's gravity. So if you weighed 150 pounds here on Earth, you would only weigh 50 pounds on Mercury. It doesn't mean you'd be skinny, it just means the force of gravity would be only 1/3 of what it is here on Earth. So you'd feel lighter. You could jump higher, you could lift things easier, that kind of stuff. Whatever. Okay, so please make sure that you have this sheet filled out. What you're going to do next is work on your planet project. And if you want to know about that, here's what's about the planet project. You're going to pick a planet or moon in our solar system from a list, and you're going to research about that on some sites which are linked on the Google Classroom, and fill out all the information on the sheet. So what does the sheet look like? It looks like this. You're going to pick one of these planets over here. You're going to fill out all this information here about your planet or moon, okay? The reason why these are on this list is there isn't a lot of information on the other ones. So these are the ones that have enough information for you to do it. On the back of it is an example right here, and how I'm going to grade that assignment. Here's a few examples of what you've done in the past. Just a little idea here. Here's one. You see lots of information, pretty cool drawing. Here we have lots of information, color. It's organized with all these headings. Here's another one. Their information, lots of drawings, lots of information. This person was more of the artistic. You don't have to be an artist to do this, but you do have to do everything that's required in the project. Good luck.